It's Mandy here from Fraser Coast Hypnotherapy. I'm an allied health professional and I provide clinical hypnotherapy and strategic psychotherapy. I'd like to talk to you about dreams. Not just the ones in terms of aspirations, but also the ones that you might have that you don't want, like nightmares, for instance. Now, when somebody has a nightmare, it's what we call an unclosed loop. That means that just like a computer program, when it doesn't have enough of the information it needs to be beneficial, it keeps on trying to close that loop or run that program until it gets that information. Now, when you talk about your awake self, your conscious mind, you think, well, some of these things that she's talking about in her recordings and some of the things I know are quite common sense. I don't need anybody to tell me anything. It's a bit funny though that we all know what the common sense thing to do is generally, but then why aren't we doing it? Could it be not just stubbornness? Could it be that the mind, which is a front room and a back room sort of thing, you know, front room is the conscious, the back room is the unconscious or subconscious. Could it be that that back room hasn't caught up with the front room? Because we've got this massive back room and we only deal with the front window of our consciousness on an everyday basis. Because if we had to deal with all the stuff that we already know from the very beginning of our existence, it'd be just too much to deal with. So that's why we have a front room, front window, and that's what we think we know every day, but there's a whole lot of other stuff going on in the background. Now, when we have a nightmare, we might think that that's a troublesome thing, but it's actually quite useful because our mind wants us to be happy, so it keeps on running its program until it gets the download finished, done. But unfortunately, if that information isn't complete, it has to loop. So what I help to deliver is a psychological education which goes past the front window, front room, straight through the back room and to that database to find where the resources are that you can use that the front room doesn't know about enough of, the back room doesn't know how to use well because it needs psychological education. So we get them to meet and we get them to work and we get them to deliver the download of the new information in a safe way that makes the backroom program comfortable. So it doesn't feel threatened, because all it's trying to do is help you. So you're trying to help yourself in the front and it's trying to help you in the back, but they're not talking to each other very well on this one thing. Might be more than one thing. So when anybody says, oh, well, that's obvious, I could tell anybody that. Well, sure, yeah, of course you can tell everybody everything. You can go and look at Marcus Aurelius. He's a really cool guy, very stoic. But the point is, or he was, but the point is, until that back room program accepts that what it's learning, which may be new to it, is a safe, beneficial, and good idea for it to take on, so it can keep on running, but with the new information to complete that loop, it's just going to keep on doing it. And if it doesn't keep on doing it in the dream, it'll keep on doing it in other ways. So for instance, you know that smoking is bad for you. Well, yeah, but your pleasure centers tell you something else. So your back room says, I think we'll keep on doing this, while your front room says, you do know that it could shorten your life and make you very unwell in the process. Well, of course you know that. But until that backroom program gets an idea that it needs to, meet in the middle, find out about what's happening in the outside world, and maybe find out whether that's a good idea or not, it's going to keep on looping. So that midnight snack, that extra piece of shopping that you don't actually need, that cigarette that turns into far more than one, it's just going to keep on happening unless you have a very focused decision-making way of going about the world, in which case you say, right, I'm just going to do it. But how long does that last for? Until the next emotional drama, disappointment, social get-together, funeral, God forbid. Whatever it is, people find themselves falling back. And they think, oh, that's just normal. It's just an allowance that you have to make for yourself. Well, yeah, sure, that's fine. I'm not here to judge anyone. But what I'm here to do is help you so that fallback isn't cigarettes or extra alcohol or, impulsive shopping or insomnia or anything that could harm you. I can't stop everything, but I can try and help you address the things you tell me you want to address. Now, you spent a lot of years building a habit. I cannot generally, there's always an exception, but I cannot generally, and most decent hypnotherapists will tell you the same thing, just zap you in one go and make you not do whatever it is you've been doing that you say you want to stop. That's just not realistic. Yeah? You send your kids to school to get an education. It doesn't happen in one day. So, it does take a few sessions, and that's normal. Shouldn't take too many though, if you really are on board with the change that you say you want to make. Okay? So, as I said, I've got a discount at the moment, $65 a session for 4 sessions at a time, so 65 times 4, rather than 90 times 4. So that's cool. So if you want to make an appointment with me, then you can contact me by going through Facebook or the https://thing www.frasercoasthypnotherapy.com, and you'll get through to me. And we can have a chat. The first 20 minutes is free anyway. And if you don't want to come into this treatment room, that's cool. Just make sure you've got a private bit of time in an undisturbed room with a chair you can sit in and not fall around on the floor from if you fall into a nice, deep, relaxing trance. So you can choose which chair you'd like to go into your hypnotherapy in. Whether you want to be in hypnosis, make sure it's safe. That's my job to make sure I say that to you, because I can't do a hypnotherapy session if you're on a rickety chair. So you can lie in the bed as well, but please make sure you're dressed, because as you can see, I blush. I look forward to hearing from you, and I won't promise ridiculous things. Sometimes bad dreams, nightmares, happen because of medication. So the first thing I do with people is say, please see your doctor, get some good medical advice, have a review if necessary. You might not need me at all. So the point is, I'm here for you if you do. I only deal with adults. And I look forward to hearing from you. Let's go and make this change together.